The sun hung low in the sky, painting the small human colony with shades of orange and gold. The streets, usually filled with chatter and the hum of machinery, were quiet now. A lone figure moved slowly between the shadows of the empty buildings. It was small, with thin limbs and large watery eyes that seemed too big for its fragile face. The alien child had been alone for weeks. No one knew it had arrived, and it had no way to ask for help. Hunger gnawed at its stomach, making every step heavier than the last. It had come from a distant world, one where the skies were violet and the trees glowed faintly at night. But here the air was dry and strange, and the food it once knew was nowhere to be found. The alien's stomach growled painfully as it sniffed around the corner of an abandoned market. Broken crates and toppled barrels lay scattered, remnants of a place once busy with human life. It peered inside, hoping for scraps, but the shelves were bare. Dust coated every surface, and the smell of old metal mixed with the faint scent of rust filled the air. The alien sat on its knees, pressing its small hands against the cold ground. Its head drooped, and the energy it once had was fading. Its eyes, however, remained alert, scanning for movement. Every sound made it flinch, the soft clink of a distant pipe, the hum of a machine powering down, even the footsteps of small creatures scurrying in the alley. Hunger made it desperate, but fear kept it cautious. Somewhere nearby, life carried on. Humans moved about their day, unaware of the alien hiding just beyond their sight. Most would have ignored it, and some might have run if they saw it. Fear of the unknown had always been strong among humans, and a child of another world was frightening enough. But the alien did not know this. All it knew was the emptiness in its belly and the hope that maybe, just maybe, something edible could be found. It crawled toward a small dumpster, hoping for something discarded. Its fingers brushed against an old container, and a faint scent of food rose up. The alien sniffed eagerly, but the container was empty. A tear slid down its face, leaving a tiny streak across its pale skin. Hunger was sharp now, almost unbearable. It whispered a sound, a soft, mournful noise that it had learned to make when desperate. Then, from a nearby street, a small shadow appeared. The alien froze, pressing itself against the wall. A human boy, not much older than 10, stepped cautiously into view. He had messy brown hair and bright eyes that seemed to see everything. He carried a small bag in his hand and paused when he noticed the alien crouched in the shadow. Most humans would have looked away, maybe even run, but this boy did not. His gaze softened as he studied the trembling figure before him. The alien sensed the boy's presence. Its large eyes widened and its body tensed. Hunger made it bold, but instinct urged it to flee. It remained still, unsure what the boy wanted. The boy knelt slowly, not wanting to scare it. From his bag he pulled out a small piece of bread, wrapped carefully in cloth. He placed it on the ground a few steps away and whispered, almost as if talking to himself, "Maybe this will help." The alien stared at the bread. Its stomach ached so badly that it felt like every movement was impossible. Hunger pushed it forward, but caution held it back. The boy did not move closer, giving it space. The alien took a small, trembling step toward the food, then another. Finally, it lowered itself and sniffed the bread. The smell was foreign, yet comforting in a way it had not felt in weeks. Slowly, it reached out with delicate fingers and picked up the bread. It broke a small piece and tasted it. Relief flooded its body, giving it a little strength. Its eyes, still wary, softened slightly as it realized the boy meant no harm. Hunger was still there, gnawing and persistent, but hope had returned for the first time in weeks. The boy smiled faintly, watching the alien eat. He did not speak, knowing that rushing it would only frighten it. The sun continued its slow descent, casting long shadows across the empty streets. The boy and the alien remained in quiet companionship, separated by species but connected by a simple act of kindness. For now the alien could rest, and the boy had made a difference. In the silence of the abandoned colony, a fragile trust was born, small but strong enough to light the darkness surrounding them. Night was coming, and the streets would soon be cold and empty. But in that moment the alien's stomach was not empty, and its heart felt a little lighter. It had survived another day, and the boy's kindness was a spark that promised something more. A chance to live, a chance to trust, a chance to belong. The boy's name was Eli, and he lived in a small house on the edge of the colony. His days were filled with chores, lessons, and sometimes long hours of wandering the empty streets. He had always been different from other children. Where others saw fear in the unknown, he saw curiosity. He loved the stars and imagined the creatures that might live on distant worlds. And now, as he watched the small alien child eat the piece of bread he had left, his heart ached with both concern and wonder. Eli had never seen anyone, or anything like this alien before. Its skin was pale and soft, almost glowing in the last rays of the sun. Its eyes were enormous, shimmering with colors he could not name, and its tiny hands moved carefully, as if afraid of breaking the fragile bread he had offered. The alien's movements were hesitant but hungry, and each bite seemed to give it just enough strength to keep going. The boy knelt a few steps away, waiting patiently. He remembered what his mother always told him: kindness is its own reward. But he also knew that the world could be cruel. Humans were cautious of anything they did not understand, and if anyone discovered the alien, they might not react kindly. He could not let the child be taken away or hurt. As the alien finished the bread, it looked up at Eli, blinking slowly. For a moment, fear flashed in its eyes, but it did not run. Instead, it made a soft noise, almost like a whisper, and Eli understood. It was trust, small, fragile, but growing. He smiled gently, nodding as if to say, "It's okay. You can trust me." Eli reached into his bag and pulled out a small container of water. The alien hesitated, but the thirst in its eyes was clear. Slowly, it leaned forward and sipped carefully. Water dripped down its chin, and Eli quickly wiped it away with a piece of cloth. The alien made another soft noise, this time more like a sigh, and Eli's heart lifted. It was responding. It was alive. It was grateful. Night began to fall over the colony. The streets that had seemed warm and quiet in the evening light now turned cold and shadowed. Eli knew he could not let the alien stay out in the open. He needed to find a safe place, even if just for the night. He whispered softly, "Come with me. I'll keep you safe." The alien looked at him, uncertain, then slowly followed. Its movements were still weak, and Eli held the bag lightly, making sure it could keep up. They walked through narrow alleys and abandoned streets, careful to avoid anyone who might notice them. Eli led the way to a small shed behind his house, one that was mostly empty but safe from the wind and eyes of strangers. Inside, he placed a blanket on the floor and motioned for the alien to sit. The alien lowered itself carefully, its legs folding beneath its small body. Eli could see how thin and fragile it was. Hunger had taken its toll, but he could also see sparks of life returning to its body. Eli sat across from the alien, pulling another small piece of bread from his bag. He broke it in half and held it out. The alien looked at it, then at him, and slowly took it. As it ate, Eli spoke softly. He told it about the colony, about humans, and about simple things like the stars and the wind. He did not expect the alien to understand, but he wanted to create comfort, to let it know it was not alone. Hours passed, and the alien rested after eating. Its breathing grew steadier, and for the first time in weeks, it did not tremble from hunger. Eli stayed close, his eyes bright in the dim light, watching over it like a guardian. He wondered where it had come from, why it was alone, and if anyone else would ever find it. But for now, none of that mattered. What mattered was survival, trust, and a small act of kindness that had begun to heal a starving child from another world. Eli's mind wandered as he looked at the alien. He imagined teaching it, helping it grow stronger, and maybe even showing it the stars one day. He felt a sense of responsibility but also joy. There was something special about this connection, something he could not explain. It was not just the alien's need that mattered, it was the way it looked at him, with eyes that reflected fear, curiosity, and now a hint of hope. The night grew deeper, and the cold crept into the shed, but the warmth between them remained. Eli carefully covered the alien with a soft cloth and whispered, "Sleep now. Tomorrow will be better." The alien blinked slowly and curled up slightly, its head resting on the blanket. It was not asleep yet, but it felt safe. And in that moment, Eli understood something important. Sometimes, survival was not just about food or water, it was about trust, care, and being seen by someone who cared enough to act. Outside, the colony slept under the quiet stars, unaware of the small miracle that had happened in a forgotten shed. Inside, a human boy and an alien child shared warmth, comfort, and the beginnings of a bond that would grow stronger with each passing day. The world was still vast, dangerous, and unknown, but in that small corner, kindness had created hope, and hope was stronger than fear. For the first time in weeks, the alien closed its eyes completely. Not in fear but in relief. Hunger was no longer its only companion, and trust had found a place in its fragile heart. Eli watched over it, knowing that tomorrow would bring challenges, but also knowing that together they could face anything. Eli noticed that the alien was growing stronger each day. Its movements were steadier, its eyes brighter, and the hunger that had once dominated every thought was now just a shadow of the past. But he also noticed something else: caution. The alien was still wary of the world beyond their little shed, still afraid of humans and their unpredictable reactions. Eli understood. Trust, once broken or never given, could only be built slowly. One afternoon, Eli decided it was time to try something new. He knelt a few feet away from the alien, holding a small loaf of bread wrapped carefully in cloth. The alien watched him with wide eyes, sitting back slightly, unsure if it was safe to approach. Eli spoke softly, almost a whisper, "You can have this if you want it." The alien's head tilted, and it made a small clicking noise, a sound Eli had come to recognize as curiosity mixed with hesitation. The boy placed the bread on the ground, leaving enough space so the alien would not feel threatened. He did not move closer, letting it decide for itself. For a few long moments the alien studied the bread, then looked at Eli. His calm eyes and gentle voice reassured it. Slowly, it inched forward, reaching out a small hand. Its fingers brushed the cloth, then the bread, and finally it picked up a piece and tasted it. Relief washed over its face and it made a soft, satisfied noise. Eli smiled, heart lifting at the small victory. "See? I told you it was okay," he whispered. He knew that simple words and patience meant more than any gift or food. The alien was learning that humans could be kind, even when the world had been cruel before. Each bite it took built more than strength, it built trust. After the bread, Eli offered water in a small container. The alien hesitated, then drank slowly, learning to trust not just the food but the hand that offered it. Eli spoke softly as it drank, telling it stories of the stars and planets far away. He explained things like wind and sun, rain and trees, simple concepts, but they were new and wondrous to the alien. Its eyes shone with curiosity, absorbing everything. The alien began to move more confidently. It followed Eli as he walked around the shed, exploring the small space they had claimed as their own. It poked at objects, examined leaves, and sometimes even attempted to mimic Eli's movements. Each time it succeeded, even slightly, Eli clapped softly and smiled, encouraging it. "You're learning so fast," he said. "I'm proud of you." At one point, the alien paused near a small crack in the shed's wall, peering outside. Eli noticed its nervous glance and crouched beside it. "It's okay," he whispered. "No one will hurt you while I'm here." The alien turned toward him, eyes wide and shining, and made a soft noise that Eli understood as trust. It was a sound without words but full of meaning. As the day wore on, Eli suggested a small game. He rolled a tiny ball toward the alien, who flinched at first but then batted it back. Laughter, small and quiet, echoed in the shed. The alien's movements were clumsy but eager, and for the first time, it played without fear of danger or hunger. Eli joined in, rolling the ball gently and guiding it back, celebrating each small success. The alien's joy was pure, and Eli felt a warmth he had never known before. Evening came and the sun dipped low. Shadows stretched across the shed and the air grew cooler. Eli prepared another small meal and shared it with the alien, who ate eagerly but with care. Its trust in him was growing and so was its strength. After eating, the alien lay down on the blanket, resting comfortably beside Eli. The boy watched over it quietly, heart swelling with pride and affection. Eli thought about the journey ahead. They had come a long way in just a few days. The alien had learned to eat safely, drink water, explore a small area, and even play. But he knew that the world beyond the shed was still uncertain. Humans might not understand, and danger could come at any time. Yet he also knew that trust, patience, and kindness could overcome fear, even across worlds. As night fell, Eli whispered once more, "Sleep now. Tomorrow we'll learn more. Together we can face anything." The alien curled up, head resting lightly on the blanket. Its breathing was steady, calm, and full of trust. Eli stayed beside it, watching the stars through the cracks in the shed. The night was quiet, but inside the small space, warmth and connection grew stronger. For the first time, the alien was not just surviving. It was beginning to live, to feel, and to hope. And Eli, with his gentle care and patience, had become more than a friend. He had become a protector, a teacher, and a companion. In the small shed, under the quiet stars, a bond had formed, delicate but unbreakable. One whispered offer of food had sparked something extraordinary, the beginning of trust, friendship, and a shared journey that neither would forget. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight they rested. Two beings from different worlds, joined by compassion and courage, had discovered that even the smallest acts could create a bridge between fear and hope. And in that quiet, gentle night, the alien child knew for the first time that it was not alone. The next morning, Eli woke to find the alien already awake, sitting quietly on the blanket, its large eyes fixed on him. There was a new brightness in those eyes, a spark that had not been there when he first found it. The alien had grown stronger, more confident, and yet it remained cautious, still learning to trust the world beyond its fear. Eli smiled softly, feeling both pride and responsibility. Today he decided they would explore a little further, learn a little more, and grow closer than ever. They left the shed carefully, moving through the quiet streets of the colony. Eli guided the alien gently, holding out his hand at times, letting it grasp him for reassurance. The alien's small fingers clung briefly before letting go, testing the safety of its new companion. The streets were empty at this hour, but sounds of the waking colony echoed in the distance. Eli spoke softly as they walked, explaining what each sound meant. A cart rolling, a door opening, the hum of machinery, teaching the alien to understand and navigate this human world. As they reached the park at the edge of the colony, Eli encouraged the alien to explore. The alien hesitated at first, touching the grass with delicate fingers, feeling its texture and sniffing the air. Eli laughed quietly when it sneezed from the tickling blades. "It's okay," he whispered, kneeling nearby. "Everything here is safe with me." The alien blinked, then tentatively moved further, its curiosity growing faster than its fear. Eli led it to a small stream that ran through the park. Water flowed gently over smooth stones, sparkling in the morning light. He knelt beside it and demonstrated how to drink safely, cupping water in his hands. The alien watched carefully, then imitated him, dipping its hands into the cool water and bringing it to its mouth. A soft noise of satisfaction escaped it, and Eli smiled. "Good job," he whispered. "See? You're learning so fast." After the stream, Eli showed the alien some simple ways to find food: fallen fruits, edible plants, and small snacks left by humans. The alien observed eagerly, mimicking his movements. Its confidence grew with each successful attempt. It was not just survival now, it was learning to live in this strange new world. Eli felt a swelling pride. This alien, once fragile and starving, was beginning to thrive under his guidance. They spent hours exploring together. Eli pointed out flowers, rocks, and trees, naming each one softly. The alien responded with clicks and chirps, sounds Eli was beginning to understand as curiosity, excitement, or questions. It was communicating in its own way, and Eli responded in turn, creating a conversation without words. Trust had grown into companionship, and companionship into friendship. At one point, the alien discovered a small bird perched on a low branch. It froze, eyes wide, fascinated but cautious. Eli whispered, "It's okay. It won't hurt you." The alien reached out slowly, and the bird chirped and hopped away. The alien let out a soft sound, half frustration, half wonder, and Eli chuckled. "Not everything is predictable," he said gently. "But it's okay to try to learn." The alien tilted its head and made a soft chirp, seeming to understand. As the day wore on, Eli suggested a small game. He rolled a ball toward the alien, who batted it back clumsily but with growing skill. Laughter filled the air, soft and unrestrained. The alien's movements became more confident with each pass, its playful spirit shining through. Eli joined in, encouraging and celebrating each success. The alien's joy was pure, a mix of discovery and freedom, and Eli felt a warmth in his chest he had never experienced before. By late afternoon, the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the park. Eli knew it was time to return to the shed. He guided the alien gently, keeping to the quieter paths, careful to avoid notice. The alien followed closely, its steps steady, its body no longer trembling with hunger or fear. Once inside, Eli prepared a small meal, sharing it quietly with the alien. It ate eagerly, carefully, and then lay down on the blanket, resting comfortably beside him. Eli sat beside it, watching the colony outside as the sky turned shades of pink and purple. He thought about the journey ahead. The alien had grown stronger, more confident, and more curious. It had begun to trust him completely and even respond in ways that surprised him. But he knew there were challenges still waiting outside the shed, humans who might not understand, dangers lurking in the streets, and the alien's own uncertainty about the world. Yet Eli also knew something important. Trust and kindness could overcome fear. Patience could create understanding. Friendship could bridge worlds. The alien was learning, adapting, and thriving under his care. And Eli felt something extraordinary. The bond they had formed was unbreakable, a bridge between two species that had once been strangers to each other. Night fell and the shed grew quiet. Eli whispered softly, "Sleep well. Tomorrow we'll explore more. Together we can face anything." The alien curled up, head resting lightly on the blanket, and closed its eyes. Its breathing was steady, calm, and full of trust. Eli stayed beside it, watching the stars through the cracks in the shed, feeling a sense of purpose and joy he had never known. For the first time, the alien was not just surviving. It was living, learning, and discovering a world beyond fear. And Eli, with his patience, courage, and care, had become more than a friend. He had become a teacher, protector, and companion. In the quiet night, under the gentle glow of the stars, their bond grew stronger, a symbol of hope, kindness, and the power of humanity to create connections that could transcend worlds. The morning sun broke over the horizon, spilling light across the quiet colony. Eli woke first as usual, and noticed the alien child already awake, sitting upright on the blanket, its large eyes fixed on him. There was a brightness now, a spark of curiosity and strength that had not been there when he first found it. The alien stretched its thin limbs slowly, testing the growing power in its body. Eli smiled softly, feeling pride and wonder. Today he decided they would venture further, learn more, and take the next step in their journey together. After a quick breakfast of bread and water, Eli led the alien through the streets. The colony was beginning to stir, humans moving to work, carts rolling, and machines humming, but the alien remained calm at Eli's side. Its fear had diminished, replaced by cautious curiosity. Occasionally it glanced at Eli for reassurance, and he offered gentle nods and soft words. They were partners now, walking together in silence and understanding. They reached the park on the edge of the colony, a place of green grass, tall trees, and a small sparkling stream. Eli pointed to the stream, demonstrating how to drink safely by cupping water in his hands. The alien followed carefully, tilting its head and dipping its hands into the cool water. It sipped slowly, a soft noise escaping it in satisfaction. Eli laughed quietly, thrilled by the progress. "See? You're learning so fast," he whispered. The alien blinked, making a small chirping sound that Eli took as agreement. Eli then showed the alien how to find food among the park's small shrubs and trees. Fallen fruits, edible plants, and scraps left behind by humans became a lesson in survival. The alien's large eyes watched closely, and it mimicked his actions, picking up items and examining them. Each successful attempt brought a small chirp of excitement, and Eli encouraged it with gentle words. The alien was no longer simply surviving, it was learning to thrive. As they explored, Eli pointed out flowers, rocks, and the rustle of leaves in the wind. The alien responded with clicks and chirps, a new language emerging between them. Eli had begun to understand these sounds, interpreting curiosity, excitement, or questions. Communication grew stronger and trust deepened. The alien's wariness had faded, replaced with a sense of safety in Eli's presence. In the afternoon, Eli suggested a game. He rolled a small ball toward the alien, who batted it back with clumsy but growing skill. They laughed silently, sharing joy without words. Each pass of the ball strengthened their connection, and the alien's playfulness was a new discovery, freedom, fun, and confidence emerging all at once. Eli felt warmth in his chest, realizing that the alien was no longer the fragile child who had hidden in the shadows, starving and fearful. When the sun began its slow descent, Eli guided the alien back through the streets to their shed. They moved carefully, avoiding notice, the alien walking confidently at his side. Once inside, he prepared a simple meal of bread and water. The alien ate eagerly, carefully, and then lay down on the blanket, resting comfortably. Eli sat nearby, watching over it, feeling a mix of joy, responsibility, and hope. Night fell over the colony and the shed grew quiet. Eli whispered softly, "Sleep well. Tomorrow we will learn more, and together we can face anything." The alien curled up on the blanket, head resting lightly, breathing steady and calm. Trust had grown into comfort, and comfort into a deep bond. Eli stayed awake for a while, gazing at the stars through the cracks in the shed. He thought about the journey ahead, challenges, fears, and the unknown, but also about the power of kindness and patience. As he watched, he realized something extraordinary. The alien had survived hunger, fear, and loneliness. It had learned to trust a human, to explore, to play, and to adapt. And in return, Eli had learned patience, courage, and the strength of compassion. The bond between them was more than friendship. It was a connection that bridged worlds, species, and experiences. In the quiet night, the alien made a soft chirping sound, curling closer to the blanket as if acknowledging Eli's presence and protection. Eli reached out gently, letting his hand hover near its small form. The alien did not shy away, a clear sign of trust. It had grown from a fragile, abandoned child into a being capable of learning, adapting, and thriving, all because of the simple act of kindness and the whispered offer of food that had started everything. Outside, the colony slept under the starlit sky, unaware of the small miracle happening in a quiet shed. Inside, two beings from different worlds shared warmth, safety, and companionship. Each had given something to the other. The alien gave trust and curiosity, and Eli gave protection, guidance, and friendship. Together they had created a small world of hope, learning, and understanding. Tomorrow would bring challenges, dangers, and uncertainties. Humans might not all be kind, and the alien would need to continue learning how to navigate this new world. But tonight it was safe. It was alive. And it was loved. Eli watched over the alien child, knowing that the bond they had formed could overcome fear, bridge differences, and change both their lives forever. In that small shed, under the quiet stars, a new beginning had emerged. The alien had discovered trust and friendship, and Eli had discovered the power of compassion and courage. Together they were ready to face the world, not as separate beings, but as companions bound by care, respect, and the unspoken understanding that sometimes, even the smallest acts of kindness could change everything.